Hey everybody, Nick Espinosa, your chief security fanatic here, and today we actually have to talk about Apple because Apple is ramping up the deep fakes in your life. Here's what's going on. This is coming from patentlyapple.com, and I'm not a fan of this at all. But first, we actually have to discuss the quick definition of what a deep fake is, because that's what we're talking about today. Now, deep fakes are synthetic media in which a person in an existing image or video is replaced by someone else's likeness. There you go. Deepfake generators use artificial intelligence in order to understand the image and then manipulate effectively the image to turn it into something else. Meaning, we've all seen the videos of Barack Obama, and there was one where I can't remember the Bill Hader, I think, turns into Arnold Schwarzenegger when he's doing an impersonation, on like Conan O'Brien or whatever it is. These things are everywhere. They are very real, very effective, and there we are. Deep fakes now, though, have also garnered widespread attention for their potential use in doing things like creating celebrity adult videos or fake news or hoaxes or bullying or even financial fraud is, hey, it's a great way to impersonate somebody on audio and video. This basically has elicited responses from basically the tech industry as well as government on how we detect and limit their use. So, the question is, what does this have to do with Apple? The other day, the US Patent Office granted Apple a patent for just that, deep fake creations or synthetic creations. Now, this patent is titled, and I quote, "Face Image Generation with Pose and Expression Control," end quote. Now, it's not as sophisticated as many of those deepfake videos out there, like the Obama one from like 2018 or that Hader one, both of which still look really damn good. But it illustrates how Apple thinks this could be the future of photo manipulation, basically as a feature for their phones, or maybe possibly apps for photos and videos on your phone as well. In fact, Apple already has some of this technology in place. Apple's newly granted patent notes that their invention covers systems and methods that relate to the creation of synthetic images of human faces based on a reference image. Now, the synthetic image can incorporate changes into facial expressions and pose. So, essentially, a single reference image can generate an image that looks like a person, aka the subject, or basically of the reference, but shows the face of the subject according to an expression and or pose that the system or method had not previously seen. Thus, the generated image is basically a simulated image that appears to depict the subject of the reference or original image, but it's not actually the real image. Now, that is basically from a quote directly from patentlyapple.com, if you couldn't tell. Now, as used in this patent, a real image refers to a photographic image of a person that represents the person as they appeared at the time the image was captured. So I'm standing there, you take my picture, that's what we are talking about. Now, as also explained though, in this patent, the systems and methods described first modify a shape description of the subject's face according to the change in facial expression and then change in pose. This results in my original photo, for example, basically being used to render an image that is not quite mine, basically the target face shape, as it is called. Now, this target face shape then incorporates a changed expression or pose relative to the reference image. The target face is then rendered to generate a target face shape image that is the same. So if I'm sitting here frowning and suddenly I'm smiling, that's what we're talking about. My original photo was frowned. They are basically using artificial intelligence to turn my frown upside down. Now, the target face sufficiently depicts major facial features such as eyes and mouth to basically convey position, shape, and expression. So, in other words, as I mentioned, if you take a picture of that moody teenager in your life, you can also turn their frown upside down and have an image that makes them look happy. So, I've got a couple of issues with this, and I think you probably know where I'm going already because you may have the same issues as well. Primarily, my core issue is that now we can start creating synthetic memories that didn't actually happen. Now, it's one thing to remove a blemish from a photo, but it's another to alter the emotional state of a subject. And that's exactly what we are talking about here, especially in picture form. Humans can convince themselves of things that didn't happen. If they think about it over and over and over, you start to incorporate it into essentially who you are. So imagine looking back, at a photo 20 years from now on an experience which you thought wasn't that great or downright sucked, and your picture back then shows you smiling. Do you now alter your memory 20 years later because you're like, oh, maybe I was happy during this? But no, you weren't. Because what you're seeing is not what actually happened. And what about future court proceedings? I mean, think about it this way. Imagine going through a divorce where you're literally in court saying, oh my God, my spouse made me miserable all the time on vacations, at home, etc. And now that spouse shows up in court with you on vacation, at home, etc., smiling all the damn time. And it's all fake. It's all synthetic. I think this is a huge problem, not just from the legal perspective, but from who we are as humanity. Meaning, we are not happy, happy, joy, joy all the time. It's okay to have crappy experiences. It's okay to be sad or mad or whatever it is in that situation. And I would much rather look back, on my memories legitimately and be like, yeah, that really was a crappy situation. Look at my face, or I was pissed off, or I was sad, or I was happy, whatever that is. And I think that is something that is intrinsic to human experience and to human value. And if you are just emotionally whitewashing over everything by saying, well, you know what, I look sad in this, so I'm going to make myself look happy, that's seriously not cool. I mean, I really think one of the benefits that photography has had essentially to the human race is to basically capture accurately points in time. And if we're able to manipulate those points of time, that's a problem. And if we're able to do it easily on the fly, oh, I'm out with my friends and having a miserable old time, but they're going to make me look happy in 20 years back. I'm going to think, oh yeah, I had a great time at that. That's a problem. So there you go. That's your news of the day. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on this. I'm not a fan of this at all. And if I had this feature in my phone, I wouldn't use it. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP, where I'm usually happy most of the time. Same with YouTube as well, where you should subscribe to me, hit that bell. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please attempt to be honest. Or be honest with yourself and stay private. Take care.